What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. Carlos Correa is somehow a Minnesota Twin. Rafael Devers got extended by the Red Sox. Trevor Bauer got DFA'd by the Dodgers. That and a lot more on this episode. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Normal Baseball Podcast. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That is Lewis, and we are back with another news episode after a couple weeks. We were away, and we did the New Year's resolution episodes, which we hope you guys enjoyed. But now we're back to our regularly scheduled program. We got a lot of news to cover, a lot of signings, a lot of chaos, a lot of just some stories. And yeah. What we got, Lewis?
A lot of baseball, because baseball is fun, baseball is electric. We're coming up on spring training. Pitchers and catchers are reporting in a month. I'm getting excited. Let's get into it. And the episode.
That was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. Electric.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got some stuff to cover. I don't know where do we want to start today, because there's a couple things that we could start with.
I mean, let's just go in order of largest news to the smallest news. Should I start off?
Yep.
The Boston Red Sox have signed Rafael Devers to an 11-year, $331 million contract extension. Boston has their guy.
Yeah, Boston, yeah. I mean, their guy was also Xander, and their guy was also Mookie. So they're kind of
Martinez. I mean, they missed out on a lot.
They're like 1 for 55 when it comes to signing their guy. Yeah. But it does seem like Devers is going to be a Red Sox for life now, obviously. 11-year extension.
Well,
the day before the extension, or a couple days before the extension, they agreed to his arbitration, which was good news, and it was a step in the right direction. So now they have agreed to the extension, and it's a good look for the Red Sox, because it kind of makes their fans be able to breathe. They've had a lot of ups and downs this offseason.
Certainly.
But I think with this, it's not a complete fluke of an offseason. Even though you lost Xander Bogaerts, you lost J.D. Martinez, you lost Nathan Eovaldi, I still don't think it's an absolute fluke of an offseason, because now you got one of your guys locked up for the next 11 years.
Yeah, it's definitely good, and I think that Red Sox fans even would have said that they would have taken Devers over Xander. So, at the end of the day, Red Sox, it's something to be happy about, because, trust me, moving forward in a little bit, I mean, do you want to talk about just everything Red Sox right now? Should we get it all out of the way? There's only one other piece of news.
Go for it.
So, of course, you guys have your guy in Rafael Devers. However, somebody who you did sign to be the guy, Trevor Story, is actually more than likely not going to play a single game this season. It was announced just last night that he had to undergo a form of Tommy John surgery, and the Red Sox said that they plan on not letting him play and letting him recover and rehab properly for the entire 2023 season. Certainly a stab right to the heart, because you spent all this money on bringing in this free agent who, at the time, really good signing, bringing in Trevor Story.
Premier free agent.
Yeah, especially after the run that they had in 2021, finishing the ALCS in 6 games, losing it to the Astros. However,
No, you're good.
However, not having him now for a full season really shakes up your lineup a little bit, and it's not something to look forward to, honestly. But the Red Sox signing signing Devers is certainly a way to help cope with it.
Yeah, I agree. But however, I've seen that the recovery for this injury, this form of Tommy John surgery, because it's not Tommy John,
right?
But from what I saw, the recovery is only 4 to 6 months. So not having him play, so if he should be fully recovered in June, say he even takes 7 months or 8 months, that's August or July. Why wouldn't they let him play the whole?
That I don't know. I
don't know where you saw. Where did you see that?
A Twitter source. Hell if I know, to tell you the truth. But
so it's nothing confirmed.
Well, it's not 100% confirmed that the Red Sox said it.
I think we'll see him play this season. I don't think he's going to miss the entire season for a surgery that's recovery time is 6 months. It's January.
I don't know.
6 months is June.
It depends. I would not be surprised if we did not see him play just because the Red Sox spent a lot of money on this guy. So
I'd be shocked.
They want to keep him as well protected and as healthy as possible. And if that means not playing the full season, that might mean not playing the full season. Maybe we'll see him come back at that point as a DH, like what Shohei did when he got his Tommy John surgery where he could only hit. But I'm not 100% sure because Trevor Story could be a very, very good hitter in this league, and he has shown it. He's a good hitter, and he has shown it at times, and then he's shown that it seems like he's never been able to see the baseball coming out of the pitcher's hand. But I hope that we get the good version of him whenever he decides to return, both offensively and defensively, because he is a star in this game, and stars in baseball are a lot of fun to watch.
I would tend to agree with stars in baseball are fun to watch. Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I'd just be shocked if he didn't play this season at all. It wouldn't really make much sense having him be healthy in June and saying, "Oh, we don't want to risk anything," so having him not play for the next year after that, like almost a year, like that's almost a year and a half of just nothing, him doing nothing.
Yeah,
I don't think that really doesn't make sense from a Red Sox perspective, especially if they're like not as bad as people think they are going to be this season.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, basically, because that's all that we can do at the end of the day.
Yeah, but otherwise, for the Red Sox, this offseason, I mean, yes, you lose Trevor Story for, God, we don't really know how long. They could come back in June, could not come back at all. But you bring in Masataka Yoshida, you bring in Justin Turner, you bring in Kenley Jansen. Who else? Bring in Chris Martin.
Did you say Justin Turner?
Joely Rodriguez. Yes, I did. Corey Kluber. I mean, it's not a complete fluke of an offseason. There still are some players on this team who you can root for. There's some guys on this team who they're going to like. Excited to watch Masataka Yoshida.
Yeah, he'll be fun.
It's not going to be a complete dud of a season from the Red Sox. From a fan watching the games perspective, I still think the games are going to be fun to watch. I think they're going to have a decent team this year, so I don't think they're going to be bottom of the barrel.
Really? Okay.
I don't think they're going to be a bottom. But I don't think they're going to be a bottom 8 team in baseball.
Okay. Where do they finish in the American League East?
American League East probably 5th.
Okay.
But I'm saying bottom of the barrel in the entire MLB. They're not going to be they're not going to have one of the worst records.
Yeah.
Like, obviously they'll have one of the worst records, but not they're not going to be 60 and 100. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Okay, I can get behind that.
We'll see. In other news, what I'm just seeing coming up right now, this is very recent stuff. Carlos Correa agreed to a 6-year, $200 million deal with the Minnesota Twins. He is no longer a Met.
Yeah.
He was a Met from December 2022 to January 2023.
What a run. What a run. I wonder how many jerseys they sold in that time.
It was said that Correa and the Mets, their negotiations for a new contract, because he didn't pass his physical, was just getting frustrating from both sides, and the Mets were thinking about walking away, and obviously they did. I saw their final offer to him was 8 years, $210 million, which obviously Correa wanted more money. So
what was the contract again?
8 years, $210 was the Mets' final offer, and he could have gotten 100. It could have went up to 12 years with $310 million.
Okay.
So they were trying to work something out, but it just did not work. And Correa, yesterday morning, was announced that he was signing with the Twins, pending a physical, which had a lot of people, on their toes because he's already failed 2 physicals in the same offseason with different teams. Both contracts fell through. And it was just announced about 20 minutes ago from right now that Correa passed his physical. So Correa will officially be a Minnesota Twin next season for the next 6 years. The deal is 6 years, $200 million. If you want to, he does have vesting options. If you want to explain that.
Yeah, vesting options for the amount of plate appearances that he gets over the first 6 years of the deal, basically the base deal. And if he does hit that, it basically extends the contract another 4 years for another $70 million, which means that the contract is very much front-loaded. At the beginning of the contract, he's going to be making $33.4 million, I believe. However, towards the end, it's closer to 20 or mid-20s, which is interesting, and it's smart because it keeps the Twins insured, basically, if they know that his health is going to decline. Why would you want to pay him $30 million plus if he can only play half the games or can only move a certain way? It's a good deal, all in all, for the Twins, and it makes sense considering that they had him last season and kind of know what's up with his physical, with his physicals and all of his reports and all that, closer than what other doctors from other teams know. So he basically went on just a sightseeing trip. Saw a couple of cities, hung out, thought about staying, but eventually his heart was in the Twin Cities.
I do think he wanted to be a Met. I think he wanted to be a Giant.
Really badly.
But when they are not giving him the money he wants, which is a little disappointing, which means he wanted money more than to win, because obviously that Mets team is probably the favorite to win the World Series this year. The Mets or the Astros, but he wasn't going back to the Astros. So, I don't know. He chose the money over the winning, which, good for him, I guess. He's making $200 million either way. Good for you, Correa. But now the Correa saga is finally over. He is a Minnesota Twin. Who would have saw it coming? I keep seeing people who said they bought his jersey when it was like $40 on sale.
Yeah, which was smart.
Which is, well, it's not even smart. It's more of like, let's be honest. The people who bought those jerseys didn't think he was going to be a Twin.
Yeah, but now
it works out.
I can say that it's smart.
It worked out very, very well. Yes. Good for them.
I think that we're going to see Correa be just as good, if not better, than he was last season, because he is, I think, very comfortably we can say that he's a superstar in the game of baseball in the MLB right now. And I think that they're, barring any really bad injury or something tragic, which we obviously would hate to see, I think that we were going to see him play another full season, multiple full seasons, and be healthy and perform as well as he always has.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this turns out once the season starts. I'm excited to see the Twins, I guess, this season. No, I take that back. I'm not really excited.
You're not.
It's kind of the same team as last year, except Joey Gallo and Christian Vasquez, which you could argue is not a step up. I got Kyle Farmer, but other than that, it's very similar team to last year. I don't know. We'll see what they can do. I say we leave it at we'll see what the Twins can do, because the team on paper has the capabilities. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm just confused about the Twins, and I'm confused.
I think
it's just a lot. That's all I have to say.
just to give some context here, Correa last season posted a 5.4 WAR in what I believe, let's check here, in 136 games. If he were to play a full season, this upcoming season, what do you think his WAR would be?
Probably around the same 5.5.
I would go over. I think he's due for another big season.
He had a big season. He just didn't play as many games.
No, I think he's due for another one.
How many games did he play?
He played 136.
Interesting.
It's exciting. Correa is he's back where it all started, basically, last offseason, signing one of the weirdest deals with 2 opt-outs in 3 years with the Minnesota Twins. and he opted out as everyone expected him to, and walked away. Went to the Giants, went to the Mets. I mean, 26 more physicals could have been failed, and we could have been talking about Carlos Correa, the Oakland Athletics all-time legend.
If only.
If only.
Well, now he's just a Giants legend. Giants, Mets legend, Carlos Correa.
The best Met that never was. Carlos Correa.
I just want to point something out about the Twins.
Please do.
So, currently their projected starting lineup, only 2 out of the 9, I guess 3 out of the 13, including their bench, only 3 of them had over 500 plate appearances last season.
And who are the 3 players?
Can you guess them?
Luis Arias.
Yep, Luis Arias, obviously the batting champion winner, played 144 games. Yep.
Not Buxton.
Not Buxton.
Not Max Kepler.
Not Max Kepler.
Not Jorge Polanco.
Not Jorge Polanco.
Was Miguel Sano on the team last year?
No.
No. No, I don't know the Twins lineup well enough.
Well, Carlos Correa was one of them.
Oh, Carlos
590
I forgot
plate
about that
appearances.
guy. Whoops.
And then Kyle Farmer, who wasn't even on the team last year, but that's, I mean, not a lot of their guys got enough playing time last year, so I guess if the team can stay healthy, maybe they'll be better next season. There's only one way to find out, and that is by letting them play. So we'll see how that turns out. But that's all with the Correa situation.
I do think...
What a roller coaster.
Well, do you want to talk about the other side of it? The Mets?
I mean, it's not much with the Mets. They're just going to have Beatty play third probably next season. Or Eduardo Escobar.
But losing the impact that Carlos Correa has, I think, is a bigger deal than what people are making it out to be. Carlos Correa is statistically one of the most clutch players in the game right now. He loves the bright lights. He loves the shining moment. He loves the intensity of trying his hardest to win the game, as most players in baseball do, because it's a competitive sport. And Correa brought something to the lineup of the Mets that I think they needed desperately, and that was not only an all-star, a super high-tier quality defender, but a power bat. I mean, Correa can hit a home run almost whenever he wants. It's just a matter of what pitch he gets, and that's something that I think the Mets have been lacking offensively, is just that home run hitter. And yes, you can say they have Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso had 40 home runs last season.
Yeah, but that's one.
Well,
I don't think that you can center a lineup around just one power hitter. Because at the end of the day...
Lindor had 26.
Yeah, not as much as you would need, because if you hit more homers, I mean, maybe you win the wild card series.
Correa only had 22 homers last season.
Right, but I'm saying that he is a power bat.
So is Lindor. I don't know. I don't think it's that much of a loss. They never even had him, technically. And what? Now they have Eduardo Escobar, who was pretty good for them last season, and they're going to give probably Brett Beatty a shot. I would hope they give Brett Beatty a shot at least. So
I think they're going to give both Beatty and Alvarez opening day starts.
That we'll see. We'll see about, because they still do have Nito and Omar Narvaez, who they just signed. So that means they would have to have 3 catchers in their on the team on opening day, which is not
ideal.
However, and they have Guillorme, who can play catcher, I believe. So we'll have to see once spring training rolls around. But currently, the Mets, you lose Correa, you're still in a very good place. You're fine. Just because you lose Correa doesn't mean that you're up in arms. And from what it seems like, they're moving on pretty quickly, because they are, you could say it's denial, but they're gearing up for without Correa, which is like what they kind of expected.
I'm seeing a lot of Brett Beatty, you are my third baseman.
Yeah, I mean, and even if not, Eduardo Escobar was still pretty good for them last season.
Eduardo Escobar is a guy that I feel like if the Mets traded, they would get a surprise in return for. Like, I don't think they get too much, no. I think it would be lesser of a deal than the Yankees' Joey Gallo trade, but I don't think it would be, like, marginally smaller. Instead of 4, like, what looked to be high-talent minor leaguers, I could see 3 minor leaguers for Eduardo Escobar. He does bring a lot to a team.
Maybe.
You know what, Eduardo Escobar, you are a Miami Marlin. Let's top it up.
I wish. The Marlins did make a move. This is kind of getting off course of importance, but the Marlins did sign Johnny Cueto to a 1-year deal worth $8.2 million, I believe. Good for them. Good for Cueto.
Yeah.
Not much else to be said.
The thing that I find interesting about it is that the Miami Marlins won a bidding war with the San Diego Padres for...
The Padres didn't want him that bad.
I think they wanted him. I think that, yes, the money might have been a little bit too high for what they were willing to do, but the Padres, who we thought were on the same level of other high-end contending teams, they have a limit, and I think they're pretty much at it.
I think it was more of, do we want to pay Johnny Cueto $8.2 million next year? And the answer was no. I think they definitely have that $8.2 million to pay him next year. They're not out of money, I can tell you that.
Well, I know that they're not out of money, but I'm saying that...
I don't think it was a bidding war, necessarily. I think they looked at it and they were like, we'd rather not pay Johnny Cueto $8.2 million next season. I know he had a 3.35 ERA, but he is 37 next season, so I don't know. I just don't think they really want to pull the trigger on it. But the Marlins rotation is looking good.
The boys down south.
Always ride with the balls. Whoa. Always ride with the boys down south. That's why they have a full shelf right there. Always ride with them. Their rotation right now is Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Johnny Cueto, Jesus Luzardo, and Edward Cabrera. That is a nasty rotation. Yep. Not a single one of those guys had over a 4 ERA last season. And only one of them had over a 3.5 ERA. So they could be sneaky good when it comes to starting pitching next season. Their bullpen needs a little bit of work, I would say, obviously. They also have Sixto Sanchez, who got shoulder surgery in October.
Will he be back?
He'll be back at some point next season. He's not coming back.
That's always a good sign.
Anthony Bender, who was a relief pitcher, Tommy John surgery in August of last year, so he probably won't be back for a while. But I do think they need more bullpen. And obviously they're not going to compete for the East this season, but I do think they are going to be a fun team to watch, which is why I will be watching a lot of Miami Marlin baseball this season.
It's hard not to watch Miami Marlins baseball. They're the greatest team.
I love it. I love the Miami Marlins.
The Miami Marlins have the same chance of winning the World Series right now as any other team, and that's what matters.
They're all 0-0 to start. So, yeah, that's the Marlins. Did anything else happen with the Marlins? I don't believe so, no.
Not that I know of.
Do you want to get to the other big kind of story? Trevor Bauer, who just got reinstated from his 300-something game suspension, was DFA'd by the Dodgers last week, which means they didn't want him on the team. He was DFA'd, and now the Dodgers have 7 days to trade him. I believe it's 3 days now because 4 days have gone by. And if they don't trade him in these next 3 days, he will become a free agent who is able to sign with any team in baseball for the league minimum, which is $720,000. The Dodgers do still owe him $22.5 million this year as part of his contract. It seems that Bauer was kind of surprised with the decision because the statement he released said, hey, it almost like, to paraphrase, it said like, hey, didn't really see this coming, but it is what it is. Like, it seems like he didn't know the Dodgers were going to release him. But how could you not know? How could you not know?
Yeah.
What kind of thing happened in that meeting that the Dodgers were like, they didn't say we want you on this team. Or like they might have said we want you on this team, but we just can't. Like,
right.
Just with the PR, we just can't. And the guys in the club, some of the guys in the clubhouse might not want you there anymore. We just can't have you on this team. But we would love to. We would love for you to pitch for us. But based on everything that's going on, we can't.
I think that it was sort of a blindside move from the Dodgers, which, I mean, you can't really fault them. It makes sense as to why they would not want him on the team, but it also doesn't make sense as to why they would not want him on the team. The Dodgers don't look as scary as they have been in years past, especially with losing Trey Turner. And part of that is their pitching staff. I mean, they have Noah Syndergaard going to be a once every 5-day starter. If they had Trevor Bauer, a Cy Young Award winner, arguably one of the higher-end pitchers in the game, it would certainly make them look a lot more like the Dodgers of the past that we knew, that we know. Just think that it was weird blindsiding him a little bit, but if you're Trevor Bauer, you have to sort of expect that the decision was probably made last minute because there were guaranteed people in the front office that wanted to keep him there, and there were people who said, get him the hell out of here and, let the door hit him on the way out. Very interesting move. However, Trevor, you can now go to 29 other teams at the league minimum, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch you wherever you go.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he goes because obviously there's a bunch of teams in baseball where they could use a starter like Trevor Bauer. I mean, that's kind of how. That's what I say every offseason with all the starting pitchers. Every team could use starting pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's very rarely a team that it's like, hey, they don't need any starters. Just let it be. Obviously, for the Dodgers, it would be nice because they Noah Syndergaard and Dustin May are their bottom two starters. So, I think they might have been hoping to have a couple different guys. But I don't know. It's a matter of, does any team want him? Because when you think about it, the Dodgers had 7 days to trade him. So far, we've heard nothing really. And even if the team says, we'll give you $2 million for him, that's still less than nothing. I mean, that's more than nothing, because they'd get nothing if they don't trade him. So that means no team must have been offering anything.
I think either way, it was going to be nothing. Like, it wasn't like there was a team coming out of the woodwork and saying, oh, we'll give you these 2 minor leaguers.
No, that's not how it would be. It would just be they're giving him money. It would just say, we'll give you $1 million for him, or $2 million for him.
Yeah, but why would you want to spend that amount of money when you can spend less than $1 million and just sign him?
Because then it's not guaranteed that you're going to get him.
I guess, but I think
then he can sign with any other team. So you'd rather secure him for $2 million rather than have him become a free agent and potentially go to maybe your rival. So I don't know.
Maybe what happened is that, like one team called and the Dodgers said, listen, you're the only guys who are interested in him. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, oh, well, if that's the case, then we'll just wait till he hits free agency sort of deal, which wouldn't surprise me. But also I think that people are being very cognitive, very cautious when it comes to getting around how they can sign Trevor Bauer, because he is a very valuable piece on what could be contenders, what could be rebuilders, because he not only brings a lot of performance and can be a great pitcher, he also brings a lot of knowledge. He is a very knowledgeable player when it comes to the game of baseball. It's an interesting entanglement, an interesting issue at hand, but I think that we'll see him start somewhere this year.
Oh, no, I agree. I think we'll also see him start. My question is just where. I think the Padres would be a really good fit, and it's a really good story because leaving the Dodgers, going right to the Padres, they're rivals who might be the division favorites this season. Other teams maybe going back to just Cincy, just get on a team if it's that kind of ordeal. Cleveland would be the same kind of thought process, except the Guardians are going to be a contender this year.
Him and Shane Bieber back as a 1-2 punch again.
Shane Bieber, Trevor Bauer. I don't think Bieber and Bauer were ever on the Guardians at the same time.
You sure?
I'm not 100% sure, no. But either way, him, Bieber, McKenzie, who else they got? It's skipping my head. Quantrill. It would be a very good rotation. You look at the Cardinals would be a good fit. Blue Jays would be a good fit. Cubs would be a good, just start a pitcher. He's a Cy Young caliber starting pitcher. I don't see why any team wouldn't want him except for the PR that comes with getting him. That's the only kind of downside of having Trevor Bauer. But I do think he will wind up somewhere.
They were starters together.
Okay. For 1 year? But I do think he will wind up pitching somewhere this season. So I'm just interested to see where. But that conversation will begin in 3 days when he officially does become a free agent, because obviously he still can be traded in these next 3 days. We don't really know what's happening with that. So
if a team were to trade for him, right, what team do you think would pull the trigger?
It could be anyone. It's the same.
I have
it's the same
teams.
It's the same concept with who would sign him in free agency. All 29 teams are in.
I think that more teams are willing to sign him in free agency rather than trade for him. So, but I definitely think that I could name 3 teams that would be willing to trade for him.
I can name like 20 teams that are willing to trade for him. You literally just have to pay $2 million, which to these teams is nothing.
It's chump change. Well, I mean, to the Oakland Athletics,
unless it becomes a bidding war for Trevor Bauer, it doesn't make sense.
Which would be interesting.
My only other thought is that maybe the Dodgers are like, hey, we'll only trade him to you if you give us the $22.5 million that we need to pay him this season. Like, if you want him, you're going to have to pay for him this season. And maybe a lot of teams don't want to do that. So, fine, we'll just wait. And we'll take our chances.
Yeah. Which, fair enough. I mean, why the hell would you want to pay $22.5 million for a guy that you can sign to the league minimum?
If I was a team, I wouldn't be offering to pay $22.5 million when we can pay him $720K when he becomes a free agent.
Yeah.
That $22.5 million is not worth the guarantee.
Agreed.
So, yeah. That's Trevor Bauer. That's all the news on that. Kind of a wild ride.
I definitely think that we'll see him pitch somewhere, and he will be...
What would be your top person that you would want to see him pitch? What would be your top team you want him to see him pitch?
Top team that I would want to see him pitch? The Reds. I think that that's a great place for him to get back on his feet, and it would make watching Reds games once every 5 days bearable.
I disagree. I think he should go to the Padres and say, screw the Dodgers, and then shove for the Padres and help them win a division title.
Okay, you know what? I'll agree with you, just because the storyline of Trevor Bauer no-hitting the Dodgers
would be awesome.
Electric.
Awesome. But yeah, there's that. There's always the question of if he's even going to be good when he comes back, because he's been gone for so long. But I don't know. We'll see. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he was just absolutely fine.
Well, that's Bauer.
Trevor Bauer, everybody. Round of applause.
So, what's next? What else you got? Let's see. Let's get one from you, Lewis.
The Phillies acquired arguably one of the best left-handed relievers in the game of baseball, Gregory Soto from the Detroit Tigers, in exchange for Nick Matten, Matt Verling, and Donnie Sands. Phillies now have both Jose Alvarado and Gregory Soto, 2 of the hardest throwing left-handed pitchers in baseball. Phillies are gearing up. They are gearing up. I think that
they got better.
They're on the high of they just won the National League. They won the National League championship. They made it to the World Series, and it was with a team that was far from complete. I think that everyone knew that going into the season.
Oh yeah.
That team was so far from complete.
Underdog story.
And they caught fire at the right time, lightning in a bottle, just absolutely handled their way all the way to the World Series, where they eventually ran into the big bad Astros, and the story kind of has an unfortunate ending. However, do think that the Phillies look a lot better this season with now their newest addition of Gregory Soto and Cody Clemens, who, I mean, Cody Clemens is not some guy that you just scoff at. He is the all-time leader in strikeouts for father-son duo. So that's something to note. It's something to note.
It's true.
That's a lot of legacy. It's a lot of legacy.
He is an infielder.
He is an
infielder. We should mention that.
should throw that in there.
But that is funny. I think this bullpen is actually going to be a lot better than last year, which is crazy because they had one of the best bullpens in baseball in the playoffs last season. Like
untouchable.
Their bullpen was untouchable until
it got touched.
But
okay, that sounds weird.
But still, Sir Anthony Dominguez, great righty, 3 ERA last season, 9 saves. They were just kind of throwing around saves. Jose Alvarado, like you said, one of the hardest throwing lefties in the game. Craig Kimbrell, who they signed, who for the Dodgers last season had his good times, had his bad times, but I still think that's a great signing. One of the best relievers of all time. He's definitely on that list somewhere. Gregory Soto, like you said, amazing. They still have Nick Nelson, Connor Brogdon, Matt Strahm. It's a very good bullpen.
Yeah, the only thing with Gregory Soto is I know that he did not have the best season that we have come to sort of expect from him. However, if there was any place for him to get right, this sounds crazy that I cannot believe that I'm saying this on public airways. I think the Phillies are a great place to get a reliever like Gregory Soto right.
Do you think he'll be their closer? Because currently they have 4 closers in their bullpen.
I think it's going to be by committee. If Liam Hendricks. If
Liam Hendricks, we do have to talk about him.
Yeah, if Gregory Soto is struggling, then they'll pass it to Alvarado. If Alvarado's struggling, they can pass it to Kimbrell. It's very good to have options. We know as Yankee fans, having Aroldis Chapman be the closer
Not fun.
was not fun because we knew no matter what, you could have a 1-run lead, you could be down by two runs, you could be tied, you could be up by 10. There was always a chance for something to happen, and the more and more teams see or players see certain pitchers, the more they get comfortable with facing his stuff. So having the ability, if you guys make it back to the NLCS and have to play a 7-game series, you sweep because you go 4 for 4 with having a different closer every game.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's the 4 closers are 2 righties, 2 lefties. I think it's going to be more of a day-by-day thing.
Oh, totally.
Like, not necessarily like you're doing bad, but just like what's the situation, who do we think would fit best in here, and having 4 closers can come to your advantage.
Certainly.
So
and I think the
like you said, in a 4-game series, even just a regular season series, not facing the same closer every day can get to you.
Yeah.
It's a lot to adjust to, and if you can't hit any of them, you're screwed.
Oh, totally.
And say you can't hit one of them, then they're just going to keep throwing that one out. It could be a very good system. We'll see how it works.
I'm excited.
Like you said, the Phillies had less than a complete team, and they made it to the World Series. I'm excited.
We had always called them the streakiest team in baseball.
I still think they will be a very streaky team next season. I don't think that's going to change. I think they will be a streaky team in 2023. So, that's just my opinion. But that's the Phillies. No new signings for the Phillies, I don't believe.
Can we clap it up for the Phillies offseason? Because offseason's starting to come to a close. I think that they had one of the better ones.
Pretty good offseason for the Phillies.
Yeah, pretty damn good.
Pretty good. The only thing that sucks is you lose Harper for like the whole year.
Yeah.
So, which he is the core of their team. So we'll see how that turns out. Next up, we'll stay in the NL East. Dom Smith, 1 year, $2 million with the Nationals. I think that's all that really has to be said. I think he's going to be an everyday first baseman for the Nationals, which means Luke Voit does not have a chance to go back to Washington.
2020 home run champion Luke Voit cannot re-sign with the Washington Nationals right now.
It's terrible.
Sad
it's a terrible situation.
I feel terrible for everybody who's involved in the situation. Luke Voit will win the MVP this season, so Nationals, I'm sorry that you missed out on that. But,
yep. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Luke Voit, 2023 MVP, 2024 MVP, 2025 MVP, 2026 MVP, 2027 MVP. Luke Voit, 2020 home run champion, is the best player in baseball right now.
Yeah. Per usual, he's never not been the best player in baseball.
You're right. What else we got? Speaking of first baseman, Eric Hosmer to the Cubs on the league minimum deal.
Nah.
You might as well.
You
might as well if you're the Cubs. I don't really see a problem with it. The Cubs have a decent team this season. Do I think they're going to compete for the division? No. Do I think they have a decent team? They could.
Okay.
There's a lot of bids that if Hosmer's good, if Bellinger is good, if Hosmer and Bellinger are good, they can be a pretty good team.
How many games out will the Cubs finish from the final wild card spot?
642.
Okay, give me a real answer.
10. 4. 5. 5.
5?
5.
5. Okay.
I think they'll finish 5 games out of this NL wild card. Oh, where's he going?
Oh,
he's out of here.
No, I have a cramp.
Got a cramp. He's got a cramp, everyone.
Holy crap.
Well,
crap.
while he does that, I will move on. That is all the Cubs really did. Staying in the NL Central now, we might as well. Wade Miley signed a 1-year, $4.5 million deal with the Milwaukee Brewers. So that's interesting. Brewers get another starting pitcher, which, can you really complain about starting pitchers?
There's no better place for a starting pitcher to be than the Brewers.
Lewis is screaming from across the room. But yeah, the Brewers pitching staff: Burns, Woodruff, Lauer, Peralta, Miley. It's a very good. It's a very good rotation. Moving from the Cubs to the Brewers. That's the second time this offseason that a Chicago Cub free agent has switched to another NL Central team. Obviously, Wilson Contreras went to the Cardinals. Good for the Brewers. Why not? You know. What else we got here? Moving right through. Zach Davies re-signed with the Diamondbacks, the Snakes, who are going to be good this season. Hopefully.
Yeah. Nationally champions, from what I've been hearing.
1 year, $5 million, and as well as Evan Longoria, third baseman, 1 year, $4 million with the Diamondbacks. I mean, are we going to talk about how good the Diamondbacks can potentially be every single episode? I think we should.
We might as well. Diamondbacks are going to be good. They have the pieces. Corbin Carroll will win NL Rookie of the Year, and he might bat over 300. He's the fastest player in baseball. Zach Gallen will win the NL Cy Young. What more do you want to say?
I mean, that's one way to put it. I think their bullpen is scary, but they're
scary good or scary bad?
Scary bad.
Yeah.
Their rotation can be good depending on how everyone pitches. It depends on how Bumgarner pitches, honestly. Having a 5 ERA is not going to cut it. So depending on how Bumgarner pitches, their rotation is going to be very good. Moreno, obviously, Lourdes Gurriel, Evan Longoria, Carson Kelly, Nick Ahmed, Josh Rowe. They have a good team on paper. They have the potential. It's just a matter of how they will actually play once the season starts. So right now we're riding with Snakes to win the East. I mean the West. Snakes to win the West.
Snakes to win the West, baby.
How do we do this? How do we make like a snake thing? Snakes to win the West. That looks bad.
Snakes to win the West.
Snakes to win the West.
The hell is that?
It looks like the snake tongue.
No, it
Snakes
doesn't.
to win the West.
It doesn't. You look like Squidward.
Okay, well, you know what? Fine. Snakes to win the West. That's how it's gonna be.
Snakes to win the West.
Do we have any other news in the NL West? The Padres signed Brent Honeywell Jr., who was pretty good last season, or has been pretty good. Just making their bullpen better, which, can you really complain? Wait, why am I not seeing that?
What are we not seeing?
Hold on. Hold the phone, everyone. Hold the phone.
In case you were wondering, I do believe that it's a minor league deal.
Oh, is it a minor league deal? That's why I'm not seeing it.
I'm like 99% sure that it's a minor league deal.
Let's see. Brent Honeywell Jr. No, major league deal. Split contract will pay. I don't know. We'll see. But
it's a split deal.
Yeah.
So that basically, he starts in minor league. He starts in the minors, should be in AAA more than likely, and we will see him get an invitation to spring training, depending on how he performs throughout his time, both in spring training and if he is in the minor league to start the season. He can earn up to X amount of dollars. I'm not really sure what the number is. I think it's close to $2 million, but as of right now, it's for a bare bones minimum contract. I don't even think it's more than $750,000. So, honestly, okay signing. It keeps the Padres covered, and it gives them another arm, which could never hurt. It's always better to have an extra arm than one less arm.
I agree. Having one less arm would be detrimental to my life, so...
And, I would happen to agree with you on that. I would hate to be missing an arm. That's how I'll go about it.
I think next we should talk about. Actually, let's get this out of the way really quick. Ryan O'Hearn to the Orioles, traded from the Royals for cash considerations. Huh?
He already got DFA'd.
Ryan O'Hearn?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that. Well, it happened, and apparently he got DFA'd. Did not know that.
Upsetting.
I would like to say the next thing we should talk about is definitely two outfielders who just signed in the American League West. Two different teams. First, we have A.J. Pollock is a Seattle Mariner for 1 year, $7 million. I love it from the Mariners. They needed another outfielder. They go out and they got probably the best outfielder left on the market. I'd say no.
Yeah. Him and Gary Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez, known center fielder, speed demon.
Speed demon Gary Sanchez.
A.J. Pollock played a decent amount. He missed a little bit last season. He was on the White Sox. Batted 245. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's a good signing. I don't think it's the biggest one.
I think it's a good move because it helps the Mariners with figuring out what they want to do and when they want to do it, how they want to do it. A.J. Pollock could even just be your DH. You know, it just looks good on paper, and it just makes the Mariners look more and more like they want to contend for the NL West, which I'm all for contention in the NL West. Someone dethrone the big bad Astros. However, definitely an uphill battle.
Yeah, I keep seeing Teoscar Hernandez on this team, and it just
doesn't look right.
It always catches me off guard, but it always makes me excited.
Yeah.
Because I love Teoscar Hernandez.
Hard not to.
He's probably going to be an all-star next year.
That's a good take.
I hope so. I hope he is, actually.
Okay.
So we'll see. That's really it for the A.J. Pollock. This is the more important one. Well, now I'm about to say.
I mean,
the Los Angeles Angels, as we know, they have that Shohei Ohtani guy, two-way player, pitches, hits. But now
they have the guy who inspired him.
They have the best two-way player in baseball, Brett Phillips. They signed him to a 1 year, $1.2 million deal. The best two-way player in baseball.
Two-way player in baseball history
is now a Los Angeles Angel.
Los Angeles Angel.
So
unusual. Just now did the Angels acquire the best two-way player in baseball.
Yep, Brett Phillips. He's going to be in the outfield for them. He's going to be pitching every fifth day. He's going to be coming out of the bullpen.
He'll be pitching every day. It's going to be like Little League, everybody.
I said every fifth day.
He's going to pitch every 5 days after 3 innings of 14-run baseball. You will see him go play left field.
It's awesome. Brett Phillips obviously was traded last year to the Orioles. What?
He has pitched in L.A. Right? He lit up the left-handed home run to Anthony Rendon. So he's comfortable on the mound.
He's pitched in LA already, yeah.
He's comfortable on the mound there.
But yeah, he was traded to the Orioles last season, and now he signed with the Angels. He did not have a great season, batted 144, but he's just a fun clubhouse guy, and I guess they needed another outfielder, and they didn't really want to spend that much money, so they didn't. Good for you, Angels, I guess. Brett Phillips is a great guy to have on any team. I think he's an amazing clubhouse guy. I think that's
he's
really...
He's a great personality.
Yeah, I think that's really important, too. So I'm glad to see him on a major league team for the time being.
I think that he will more than likely play out the full season, and we'll be talking about the greatest two-way player in baseball history going to yet another team that's sort of like the Angels. I don't think that we'll ever see him on a playoff contending team super seriously because he doesn't really bring as much value as you might think. However, it is always good to have a guy like Brett Phillips. I mean, he was on, I believe, the Rays and the Orioles last year, and it was always fun to watch. It was interesting and nothing more that you could really ask for out of him. Obviously, not one of like the top 10 greatest players in baseball right now, but certainly a guy that whenever you see his name pop up in news headlines when it comes to baseball, you always want to click on it, you always want to watch it because he is just a fun guy.
Yep, I agree. Brett Phillips.
Brett Phillips.
What else do we have? Brandon Belt went to the Blue Jays. I guess $9.3 million.
The lefty that the Blue Jays needed.
Not my
favorite. Brandon Belt.
Not my favorite signing, if I'm being honest.
No, not at all.
It is a signing. What else did we have? I think that's it. I really do think that's it. I think we're done with this episode, no? Correa exists.
One last thing.
I'm just baffled by the Correa situation.
Well, we can break that down a little bit more.
What a ride.
Let's do that right now. So, the 2022 season had Carlos Correa making $35.1 million with the Minnesota Twins to play shortstop. He plays 136 games, bats like .291, and all in all, has a solid season.
Good season, I'd say.
He opts out of the last 2 years of that deal that he signed with the Twins, and it is immediately, everyone knows that he is the best out of the 4 free agent shortstops available. So he agrees to terms with the Giants on a 13-year, $350 million contract. Scott Boras got his number. Correa got his number. They wanted the $350 million number, and that's exactly where they got to. They were happy. Everything went through. He had the physical, and the day that the press conference was scheduled, press conference gets canceled. Doctors find something wrong with Correa's ankle, which massive concern for them. So they decide to cancel it, and not only cancel the press conference, they canceled the contract altogether. Correa hits free agency again, agrees to terms with the Mets, where you hear Steve Cohen saying on the record that Correa is the guy that they needed most to have a successful offseason, to have a successful 2023 campaign. And come to find out, the doctors find the same issue once again with his ankle, to the point where the Mets had then halved the contract entirely, trying to get Correa to come to the Mets. He winds up not taking that and ends right back up where he started in Minnesota on a 6-year, $200 million deal.
I mean, what a roller coaster.
Absolute roller coaster. Living through it in real time was crazy, because I just gave all of that to you guys in, a minute and a half maybe? Whereas to get all of that, it took us about a month and a half.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to move over to one of our segments?
Yeah.
Should we move over to Lewis's Rumor Mill? We are here. The new graphic. Yes.
Best part of the show.
Well, objectively. Yeah. What do you got today? This is the segment where Lewis gives us rumors and we say whether they're bullshit or not. So let's hear it.
All right. So let's just start off. Devers signing the 1-year, $17.5 million contract just to avoid arbitration. Looking back at it now that he has signed the big deal, very, very good deal for the Red Sox, who keep saying that they want to compete. We had covered Eric Hosmer, and the only real other piece of news that we actually did not get to today that I have down here is just a giant fuck you to cancer. Liam Hendriks, closer for the Chicago White Sox, was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a form of cancer. Get well soon, Liam. Everybody in the baseball community is rooting for you. It's not something that is easy to talk about. It's not something that's easy to hear for a family member, someone that you don't know, or someone that is past, who's in this level of stardom as you are. Get well soon. Alex, your hand is raised.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, I agree. Fuck cancer. Yeah. Where does this relate to the rumor mill?
It's the only other thing that we just really have not covered.
So you have no rumors for us?
Not really.
I have one rumor then.
There's one more thing, but I was just going in chronological order that I have it all written down.
But that's not a rumor.
Oh, it's not a rumor, but it's just something that I wanted to get out there.
Not a rumor, I'd argue. Doesn't really fit the segment, but I agree. Fuck cancer. Yeah. I have a rumor, though.
Last but certainly not least, part of Lewis's segment of the rumor mill, we have the Pirates are continuing to sort of shop around Brian Reynolds. They have contacted multiple teams about trading the former All-Star center fielder to a team, because he does have 3 years of control. They are looking for a Soto-like package. However, they have not yet hit that mark of saying, that's what Juan Soto's worth. They are looking for what I believe to be an overvalued price due to the contract that Brian Reynolds is on, being that he has minimum 3 years on a deal if he were to get traded. Not really sure what the Pirates want to do, because I think they should do right by him and trade him if they cannot afford a contract extension with him. But certainly an interesting situation that you definitely want to keep your eye out on, even throughout the regular season.
Okay, I had a similar one because I'm reading this right now. That's why I was saying it's the Rangers are among the top remaining suitors for Pirates Brian Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean the Rangers do have the resources too if they really wanted to. I don't think it would be a good idea. I don't think any team trading for Brian Reynolds is a good idea with what the Pirates are asking for.
I agree. I think that you wait till the trade deadline when, his price might be lower, it might be higher, but I would say roll the dice on him being cheaper at the trade deadline. Because I think the Pirates right now are out of their absolute minds to try and get the deal that they want of being this Juan Soto-esque deal, when in all reality, like Brian Reynolds, he's a very good player in the game of baseball. He is not Juan Soto.
No, by no stretch of the imagination.
By in no way, shape, and form. And you have to just look at it's the off season. It's not like it's the 2021 season or 2022 season where Brian Reynolds is playing. He's performing well. I mean, he almost had a 4-homer game last season. Missed it by, I believe, what could have been maybe 100 feet, not even. Just all in all, he's a good player, definitely not Juan Soto. And that's what I think needs to be drilled into the minds of the people working at the Pittsburgh Pirates front office. If I need to drive to Pittsburgh and tell them that to their face, I will.
Okay. Do it. Drive to Pittsburgh right now. All right, there he goes.
We're off.
So, that'll be it for the rumor mill. And now we have our second segment here. Biter Spit with Alex. I have some biter spit. I'm going to be saying a statement, and Lewis is going to be telling me if he bites it or he spits it. My first statement regards the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Okay.
And it is, will the Diamondbacks coming in third or higher in the NL West next season? Biter spit.
Third or higher? Bite it.
I would also bite that, yeah.
It's Snakes to win the West, baby.
Snakes to win the West. My next one is...
How can we come up with that?
What?
How we have, the boys down south, obviously, with our beloved Miami Marlins. What's, a good thing?
Snakes to win the West.
No, it's...
Snakes win the West.
Snakes to win the West is, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, okay. My next one is Carlos Correa. Now that we know and all this and where he's playing and all that. Biter spit Carlos Correa playing over 130 games next season.
But I think there's no reason as to why he wouldn't be able to. He has shown last year to the Twins that he can be healthy. No reason as to why he should not be able to play.
All right, fair. My final one will go with bite or spit. The Marlins rotation having a top 5 ERA in baseball next season.
Top 5 ERA in baseball?
Their starting rotation.
For the Miami Marlins.
Last season they were 8th. I'm biting it.
I'm going to spit it. I'm sorry, I think there's just too many
good... They were 8th last season.
I think there's just too many good starting pitching
that's fair.
Clubs.
I'm biting it, and I think they're going to prove you wrong.
Okay. I would love to be proven wrong. However, I would not be surprised if they were not.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got for this episode.
Is that?
I'm pretty sure, unless you have anything else. One final note, fuck cancer, we'll say that.
Yeah. And don't forget, baseball.
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 Thank you guys for watching, viewing, subscribing, listening, commenting, sharing, following, all that jazz. That was it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.